YouTube Oni-san placed me on his radar and moved some of my videos on the over 18 age gap. That's why I decided to take a step back and approach my brother's girlfriend, sneak her inside my room without letting anyone know how deep I go, into weird mangas that made my bookshelf turn into a doujinshi temple. This manga where a degenerate boy tries to seduce his brother's girlfriend is named. What do you call this trash? Somebody just ring the doorbell and two brothers are leaving their room at the same time. It turns out as one of them is expecting a friend and decides to go open the door down there. When he opened the door, told his friend they must be quiet since this would be trouble if his brother finds out. His friend seems to be this clumsy-looking woman that once inside the house, keep on glancing at his brother's door. Even inside the boy's room, she goes straight to his bed but not to bend over it. And that's why she is stopped, as she hasn't paid yet. And oh god, this guy seems to be having a fetish for holding hands, more than holding milky bazookas. Apparently, he only wants his hand to be held by this chick, who is willing to give even more, quick as a flick. And while she is eavesdropping on his brother through the brick, instead of holding his stick, she is holding his hand as payment, suggesting he is just like a prick. Her name is Akira, and she is his brother named Kai ex-girlfriend. Apparently, she got dumped because of her overbearing personality, but she couldn't give up on him, and now being with Kai's younger brother, she is using his weakness to her advantage. I always thought a Yandere girl could be saved, but this expression I see on her face makes me wonder, is it worth it? If this question resonates with you, put this video on pause, go to the bathroom, search the number 65446, and start watching drama movies with your non-existent girlfriend. The moment Kai left his room, the girl quickly jumped from the bed. Apparently, he went to the convenience store and texted his brother if he needs anything. But we know he does not need anything because this guy likes it raw. He does not need gloves in order to hold hands with anybody. However, Akira quickly goes to the window, staring at Kay leaving. Even more, she is displaying this face, wondering if it would be okay to place a listening device in Kai's room. Her body producing a sweetening of excitement just thinking how wonderful it would be to hear the boy doing his night workout. Yet, the younger sibling decides crimes are not allowed. And he told her this so many times already, and if she does something that would become a burden for his brother, he won't forgive her. Observing that, Akira tells him that despite being a trash who is using her obsession to flirt, he loves his brother. These words coming from Akira do not make him feel any good. Chilling in the room and having small talk since the girl cannot listen to his brother Akira, he remarks that you got a message from Kai earlier. It must be nice since she got blocked on every app possible, and I wonder why. However, she believes the two of them are pretty close, but you is not so sure about it. When entering the house, Kay observed there were not other shoes. Believing he would go straight to his room, Akira listens even to his steps and is surprised when he starts knocking at the door. When looking inside, he suggested he did not see any shoes that looked like his friend's and thought the two of them went out. But it seems like only his friend left. You believe his brother would not observe something like that since he is somebody who always forgets stuff. Thankfully, Akira brought her shoes with her. After that, his brother is shocked to hear Yo say not to come to his room knocking every time just to heckle him since that is way too overprotective, but understands and knows he is all grown up now. Once his brother left, Yo tells Akira she can come out, but his words seem not to reach her. And when opened the doors of his drawer, God gracious, the girl fell on him, making the boy slip, and maybe this is finally the moment they become closer? Not even close. This woman is like a vampire who lives on the beach. He adores the sand, but the sun gives him sunburns. In her case, she loves his brother, but liquid is leaking out of her body. Turns out their collision made you catch her flu because even he starts having liquid drooling out of his nose. Yu's phone starts making noise. After hearing that bang inside his room, Kay starts worrying and is about to come to his room once again. Trying to get her fast into the closet, Yu hands her some napkins from his room, making me wonder what they're for. Turns out, the girl's having a bit of an issue. Her back might be broken. Somehow he got her inside and managed to get rid of his brother. In the school hallway, Udo ran into Akira, who quickly pulled out his phone and asked to see the picture Udo had taken for her. Excitedly, Akira asked Udo to show her, and when she saw the picture, her face was filled with happiness. She immediately asked how much she owed him for it. Udo, secretly in love, smiled and told her to just let him pat her on the head instead as he sent the picture to her. As always, Akira acted a bit trashy, but she was thrilled to have new pictures of Kai. Udo couldn't help but notice how happy she looked. As they walked past the classroom corridor, Akira was editing the picture when she noticed Udo's pose. She told him he looks like one of the action figures from his closet. Udo agreed, then thought to himself, "Lady, you're looking in the wrong place." As the girl keeps on looking at the photo she just received, she mentions Udo seems to be liking those kinds of stuff. However, at that moment, he is being cropped out of the photo he just delivered. Kai was walking down the class corridor when he spotted Udo and Akira together. His eyes widened in surprise. Both Udo and Akira were equally shocked to see him. Udo, confused, wondered why Kai was at the first-year building. Kai, looking annoyed, asked why they were together. Udo quickly responded, saying it was nothing. They just happened to bump into each other, and of course, they knew each other, so there was nothing weird about it. Kai wasn't convinced. He told Udo it looked weird, then reminded him what happened. He explained that this woman is the same person who had called him non-stop, and when he did not answer, she came to their house in the middle of the night crying and screaming. Akira looked like a banshee possessed, screaming with the power of 1,000 angry neighbors, waking up the entire neighborhood as she wonders if Kai is still alive. Channeling the energy of a deranged puppy starved for attention, she declared that if he didn't like her relentless persistence, fine, he didn't have to speak. Just stay on the call. She also mentioned not to leave her alone. Udo tells Kai that he remembered. Kai explained that he had still had feelings for Akira back then, but now that they had finally broken up, things had been peaceful. He urged Udo not to provoke Akira. And while the boy looks towards Akira while saying those things, she can only process the fact that Kai is looking at her and prompting him to feel uneasy. Trying to understand what she is saying, the boy gives her some attention. Talking to her, the girl continues to say Kai is looking at her and talking about her, which is making her happy and falling more in love. Suddenly, she informs the boys her body is throwing juice out of her cavities, and out of nowhere, I feel like my addiction to drinking sweet things is awakening some kind of primal instinct in me. Udo, a bit taken aback, found himself oddly drawn to Akira despite her behavior. Akira then quickly ran off, leaving Kai to regret ever dating her, even for a short time. Afterward, Kai turned to Udo and told him never to get involved with someone like Akira. But Udo couldn't help thinking about how hard it was to ignore her charm, even though he knew he shouldn't get too close. In class, Udo was lost in thought when a classmate approached him, calling him the kind one and begging him to see his homework. Confused, Udo thought the boy must be talking to someone else. But when the boy kept calling out to him, Udo finally replied, saying it was no problem, but warned him not to complain if he got some answers wrong. The boy assured Udo it was fine, saying that in moments like these, it's more important to think he got a feeling that he did the right thing. After handing over his homework, Udo went back to his thoughts. He worried about what to do next. He knew that if Kai saw him with Akira again, there would be no way to explain it away. Udo considered asking Akira to tone things down for a while, but then he remembered that self-control was never Akira's strong suit. If she had any at all, they wouldn't be in this kind of relationship in the first place. Udo thought to himself that he might need to give up on her entirely. Maybe things would be better if he just rejected her. As Udo remained lost in thought, the teacher addressed the class, asking if someone could translate a section of the book they were reading. After calling on Yamaga earlier, the teacher turned to Takigawa, asking her to take on the task. Startled, Takigawa stood up and hesitated, asking the teacher for a moment to think. Udo, noticing her struggle, whispered the answer to Takigawa, calling her the class president. Annoyed, Takegawa ignored him with a dismissive snub, refusing his help. Moments later, the school bell rang, signaling the end of the class. The teacher announced it was time and apologized. Looking at Takegawa, the teacher asked if she would be ready to redeem herself in the next class. Takegawa quickly and confidently assured the teacher that she would. The teacher then turned to Udo, asking if he could do him a favor by collecting the class notebooks and bringing them to the preparation room. Reluctantly, Udo agreed, responding with a half-hearted "sure." Later that day, Akira was hanging around when she suddenly froze. Takegawa, the class president, had called out to Udo in the hallway. She thanked Udo for helping her during class, but explained that when she can't do something, she wants to figure it out herself. Udo quickly apologized. Takegawa then mentioned that collecting notebooks is part of her job as the class president and suggested Udo take a break during recess. But Udo explained that since the teacher asked him directly, he felt responsible. In the end, he gave Takegawa half the books to carry. On his way home, Udo was grabbed by someone out of nowhere. Startled, he panicked until he realized it was Akira. He told her not to just pull him like that suddenly like that again. Udo then tells her that he doesn't know what she wants with him, but being spotted by Kai earlier that day, it might be best if they laid low for a while. Feeling disheartened, Akira asked if that girl was his girlfriend, catching Udo off guard and confused. But don't get your hopes up, because after Akira asked what he meant by laying low, wondering if the boy lost interest in her, she pressed further, asking if he intended to stop trading, leaving Udo completely baffled about what kind of story Akira was spinning in her head. After a while, Akira realized that the girl was just one of Udo's classmates. With a slight smile, Udo thought to himself how Akira assumed he and the class president were dating after watching their earlier exchange. Udo told Akira that he hadn't changed his mind about her, and that she was wrong to think he lost interest like she thought. He explained that he only needed things to calm down for a bit. Akira then grabbed Udo's hand and kissed it, letting her saliva drool through his fingers, similar to a puppy licking peanut butter from your hard dick. Ichor should be the right word for the liquid she left on the boy's hand. This woman can't control herself, and she still needs help tomorrow, just like before. At television, a three-eyed demon with two horns was shocked to see the masked detective demon persona. The detective swiftly saved a lady from the demon's grasp and defeated it. Afterward, the lady asked Detective Persoga why he saved her. The detective explained that saving her wasn't part of his commission, but he couldn't just leave her alone, to which he said it was simply his nature. Watching the scene unfold in the anime, young Udo was amazed by Detective Persoga's heroic actions. Udo's mother noticed how excited he was and mentioned that he was already in grade 4. His father said it was good for kids his age to have something they really enjoy, and his mother agreed. Some time later, after school, the kids said goodbye to their teacher. A group of boys gathered, talking loudly. One of them asked Yakin if there was a river near his house. Another boy joked about bringing Nagaoka to show them some synchronized swimming, clearly teasing him. Udo saw what was happening and realized they were trying to bully Nagaoka. Remembering the hero from his anime he watched earlier, and thought about what the detective said when he saved the lady from the demon. Trying to be brave like Detective Persoga, Udo stepped forward. He told the kids that Nagaoka didn't want to do it and suggested they all just play as usual. The kids looked at Udo, confused by what he was trying to say, but he smiled back at them. The boy leading the teasing apologized, saying they didn't know Nagaoka didn't want to. Then he suggested that instead of Nagaoka, Udo should show them how it's done. As the boy grabbed Udo's shoulder, causing his eyes to widen in fear. Later that day, as young Kai was walking home, he saw Udo sitting on a swing, looking down. Kai went over and asked why he wasn't heading home. Udo turned around and noticed it was Kai. Seeing that Udo was soaked with water, Kai said their mom would be worried sick, and they needed to get him dried off before going home. Kai asked who did this to Udo. Udo stayed quiet, not answering. Kai said if Udo wasn't going to tell him, maybe it was because he did something wrong. Udo quickly shook his head. Kai knelt down in front of Udo and asked him to tell him what happened. promising not to tell anyone. Udo paused for a moment, then nodded. After Udo explained what happened, Kai guessed that Udo thought he could handle it himself if he asked a grown-up for help. But Udo couldn't help but think about what had happened to the kid before, or maybe it was just the thought of it, and he struggled to hold himself together. Kai then asked if that wasn't cool, but that's when Udo burst into tears. Seeing this, Kai told Udo that in that case, his big brother would use his upperclassman power to take care of things. Udo, still upset, thought about getting revenge, but Kai stopped him. He explained that upperclassman power didn't mean they had to beat people up, but maybe they could just give them a little scare instead. The following week, when young Udo went to school, the kid who had bullied him actually came up and apologized, which caught Udo by surprise. That day, when he got home, Udo went to talk to his brother Kai. He wasn't suspecting Kai of anything, but with the sudden change in attitude, Udo asked his brother how he did it. Kai explained that he simply met with each of the bullies one by one and asked them to stop. With a smile, Kai told Udo that in the end, they all apologized and it didn't take much effort. After hearing this, Udo was really amazed. From that day on, he had two heroes, which are Persoga and Kai. 6 years later, one morning, Udo woke up yawning, complaining that he played too many games the day before. What a day off, he muttered to himself. As he glanced around, he noticed that Kai was already up and ready, surprisingly early. Suddenly, his eyes widened in surprise as Kai spoke up. Kai told Udo that he was home and introduced his girlfriend. They had just started dating, and she had been eager to come over. Clinging to Kai's hand, the girl introduced herself as Akira. The moment Udo laid eyes on her, he fell in love with Akira at first sight. Shocked to see Kai's girlfriend, Udo quickly told his brother that their parents weren't home, so introducing her now could be impossible. Kai nodded, saying he knew that's why he brought her over. Snuggling close to Kai, Akira smiled and said she just wanted to say hi to them. But we all know she came here to get some of that milk her dad went to buy and never came back with. Udo suddenly realized Kai's memo and rushed to his room, telling them he should probably go get ready to head out since he didn't want to be a bother. Kai calmly thanked him, and Akira whispered her thanks to Udo, her heart beaming with warmth. As Udo left the house, his mind was racing. He couldn't stop thinking about how cute Akira was. He liked her so much, and it freaked him out a little. He began to wonder how she was so different from Kai's past girlfriends. He sighed, thinking, I guess it's fine either way. But if everything works out and they get married, what the heck am I supposed to do? 2 weeks later, when Udo woke up, Kai noticed and told him not to overdo it. While putting on his shoes, Kai mentioned that he found a good spot to stop by after club, and Udo should let his family know he won't be eating at home. Udo then asked if Kai was going on a date with Akira. Kai paused for a few seconds before telling Udo that he broke up with Akira. Udo was shocked to hear this. Kai explained that Akira was just too overbearing, and some time ago, in the middle of the night, Kai couldn't explain everything because he didn't want to get into it. Udo, still a little surprised, thought to himself that since they broke up, maybe he now had a chance with Akira. As Kai was about to leave, he told Udo that if he ever saw Akira at school, he should stay away from her. At school, Udo couldn't stop thinking about Akira thanking him for making her feel welcome when she came over to their house for the first time with Kai. He knew he liked how Akira looked, but he also recognized that her quirks somewhat overshadowed the good parts. On top of that, she was his brother's ex-girlfriend, and given that their breakup probably wasn't on good terms, it made things even more complicated. Despite understanding all of this, Udo still found himself feeling uneasy. While trying to sort through his thoughts, he noticed Kai's voice and his friends talking. He also spotted something that seemed suspicious, but before he could think further, the school bell rang. Kai then turned to his friends and said it was the warning bell, signaling that they should head back inside. As they headed back inside, Udo was shocked to spot Akira following Kai. He couldn't believe what he was seeing and asked her what she was doing, to which she looked like a stalker. Akira, acting all strange, stuttered and explained that even though she and Kai had broken up, she said that Kai is her hero, and she would offer her life to him. Udo was stunned by her words, his mind struggling to comprehend what she just said. He couldn't help but think, what is wrong with this woman? Udo was surprised by what Akira said. He was like, your entire life? To him it sounded absurd. Udo told her that this was exactly why Kai broke up with her. Feeling a bit down, Akira replied, it's fine. They only broke up once, and that doesn't mean it's all over already. Udo, trying to process what Akira said, thought to himself that no matter how much Akira wanted to get back together with Kai, the way things were now. Before he could finish his thought, he picked out his phone and, checking the time, asked Akira if her attendance wasn't already in the red. When the final bell rang, everyone went to their classes, but Akira and Udo skipped. Akira noted how laid-back Udo seemed about skipping. Udo told her this is actually his first time. Akira then asked Udo what led her to an empty classroom, leaving Udo unsure what she meant by led. He told her that he just wanted to help her. That's all, which made Akira pause and wonder for a moment. Udo then asked if she really thought she could get back together with Kai. Akira looked at him and admitted she knew it was hopeless. She explained to Udo that's why she was gathering as much information about Kai as possible, so they could be together forever. She told Udo that all she needed to do was change her looks and personality to match Kai's ideal girl. With a more determined tone, she said no matter how long it took, even if it was years, she would make it happen. He began to wonder if she really planned to stalk Kai like this, and if she did, rumors would likely spread, which could damage Kai's reputation. Then, Akira asked if she could plant a listening device in Kai's room, claiming it would help her a lot. Udo was shocked and immediately refused, but Akira silenced him with a gesture, signaling that he should keep quiet. He explained to her that he's not going to become an accomplice to a crime, and if Kai found out, she should imagine how stressful it would be for him, not to mention that Kai will be taking entrance exams next year. Akira told Udo that she just didn't get it. If he wasn't willing to help, then he shouldn't talk to her like that again. She then asked why he didn't just rat her out to Kai or gather evidence against her to turn over to the police. In her opinion, Udo was being way too kind to her. Then, with a teasing tone, she asked if he was in love with her. Udo blushed, surprising Akira. Udo sat down and told Akira that, honestly, from the first time they met, he'd taken a liking to her, though Akira was just too messed up. He then mentioned how he'd thought about giving up because she had feelings for his brother, but despite that, he just wanted to help her in whatever way he could. He couldn't help but think to himself, what a shitty confession this is. Akira, thinking for a second about what to say, quickly decided to use Udo to get closer to Kai. She asked him why he didn't lend a hand in picking up the pieces of Kai's life. She explained that there were still so many things she wanted to learn about Kai, and the more information she gathered, the better. She added that if Udo helped her out, it would make everything much easier for her. But of course, she wasn't asking Udo to do all that for free. She told him that, in exchange for his service, she would give him anything, to which Udo freaked out, saying, anything? Akira told Udo that the price of each exchange was up to him, and if he thought she was going over the line, he should just say he wouldn't have an exchange with her. To which Akira would respect Udo's feelings, and she wouldn't cross the line. Akira then smiled and added that in that case, even for just a short while, Udo and Kai, they would all get to be happy too. Udo's eyes widened in surprise, and then he smiled, saying he would also appreciate it if she paid in advance. The next day, Udo woke up from his bed, saying he was sure he slept well. Kai was surprised to see Udo up early in the morning, to which Udo told him that it happens. Kai informed Udo that he would be coming home late and won't be eating at home, prompting the boy to ask if he is going on a date, and when hearing him say it is something like that, you get surprised.